Hello all and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, boop that button and stick around. We're gonna get weird and create a weirdo army together. My name is Ashley Robin and I'm just your average Josephine trying to see if I can make something happen here on YouTube while I work out my availability for a day job and do art on the side. I'm also a single mom and just a really random person, and every day that I show up for a new episode of this, I am shocked with myself because I rarely follow through to this extent with something that I try. I go full force for like 4 to 7 days and then I taper off very fast and never pick it up again. But I haven't had that happen here yet. This is my 17th episode. And if you want to see me stay committed to creating, and I mean creating art and creating content on here, you can subscribe to my Patreon. The link will be in the description. There are free gifts involved, insight into me via blogs, a chat community, discounts to my merchandise, and first looks at finished products. Plus, I recently made the decision to no longer offer commissions such as these to people outside of my supporters on Patreon. So, if you're thinking about getting a portrait done, please subscribe. I have no subscribers on there yet, but I am optimistic for some reason, because I'm stupid. But I'm fine with it. But anyway, my Patreon link will be in the description. If you are a friend of mine and you're watching this, please consider showing support. I would really appreciate having a few people that I know and trust on there to see what it's like and to give me feedback before people I don't know start subscribing. And I also have a feeling once I get a few subscribers, other people will be more apt to subscribe themselves. Plus, once I get subscribers on there, I will be more apt to creating content for it that I can then advertise to get more subs. So it all starts kind of with you. I need to have at least 4 or 5 friends step up and subscribe. It's like $10 or something a month, I believe. It might be the lower one. But yeah, I would really appreciate the support. Anyway, I'm going to stop plugging in my Patreon, I promise. Warning! The following content may be disturbing to some audiences. If you're triggered by talk of murder, mass shootings, gun violence, etc., please exit the video now and prioritize your mental health. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, and in case you didn't know, this is True Crime Time Hop, episode 17. Jennifer San Marco was born on December 6, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York. There is not much known about her early life, but in 1989, she moved to Santa Barbara, where she worked as a police dispatcher for a while. She also worked part-time as a teacher's assistant. She was never known to hold a job for long, but in 1997, she got a steady job finally working for Goleta mail distribution and processing plant. She later bought a condo there to be closer to her work. Now, we can't really go any further in the story without first addressing this woman's mental health. I don't have exact dates in front of me, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to include much about this because I wanted to make this one kind of short so I could get on with the one that's actually supposed to be for today. But, it does feel like it's worth mentioning that she had failing mental health for quite some time. She has a recorded history of people seeing her talking to herself and, like, yelling and arguing with herself and singing loudly and just acting very delusional and grandiose at times. There was this one time that she went to a gas station that she frequented for years at that point, and while she was there, she stripped herself completely naked out front of the gas station, and police were called, but by the time they arrived, she had put her clothing back on again, so she was not cited for that. She has been known to drop to her knees and pray randomly, loudly in public places just out of the blue and catch people off guard. That was like her MO, was just catching people off guard. And that's exactly what she did when she randomly said something concerning about, I guess, a coworker that they had having committed suicide to her coworker Dexter Shannon. And Dexter took this concerning thing, whatever it was. I didn't find what it actually was in my research, but whatever thing she said, I don't know if it was ever even reported, He took it to management, which was Charlotte Colton, I believe her name was. And I will get to that part in the story, and then we'll confirm it. But the manager in the story is the one that I'm talking about right now. So he took the concerns to her, and they wound up placing San Marco on psychiatric disability in 2003. She wasn't making threats or anything. They were just concerned by her odd behavior at the plant. She was heartbroken. That was like basically her first stable job that she ever had, and she moved and everything to really commit to that job. But she wound up selling her place and moving to New Mexico in 2004. And later that year, she attempted to start a publication series she called The Racist Press. She tried to get a business license for this and was denied. Now, this was just basically a big compilation of different conspiracy theories that she had that were revolving around race. Now, this isn't something that I read, but my deductive reasoning is saying, when you see her victims, and those were all the people she worked with at the Postal Service, they're all minorities. So she must have just, she was already known for delusional thinking. And when she was given these coworkers to fixate on, she got this whole conspiracy in her head that they were ganging up against her and that they were conspiring against her. And she just went off the deep end because she was already prone to delusional thinking and psychotic episodes, obviously. So after her business license attempt was rejected for the Racist Press, and her attempt to patent a dog or a cat food or something was also rejected around that time, she took a little stroll down to the pawn shop and bought herself a 9mm Smith & Wesson 915 15 round. She went to another pawn shop and bought 200 rounds of ammo, and nobody questioned anything. On this day, January 30th of the year 2006, San Marco snapped and went postal, literally. She drove all the way from her home in New Mexico, Milan, New Mexico to be specific, back to Goleta, and her first stop was her old neighbor. Beverly Graham and San Marco had a checkered past. They had argued when they lived next to each other, and so I guess San Marco felt like she had a score to settle. She entered the property over the back wall. There was obviously a struggle when cops later came and assessed the evidence, and the whole home was disheveled, blood was everywhere. Ultimately, the homeowner was gunned down and left for dead. Then the killer made her way to her old place of employment at the postal plant. When she got to the property, she gained entry through the front gate by tailgating someone else as they entered. She then held somebody at gunpoint to get their entrance badge. She told that person to leave. So, I don't know if that person was white, but it does make me wonder, because the other murders seem to be racially motivated. I'm not sure. Her neighbor seems to have been white, but I really don't know if that one was just because she had beef. The rest were all minorities. Anyway, getting ahead of myself here. So, as she approached the door, she saw employee Z. Fairchild walking towards the door. Z was just doing her work, and she didn't notice that there was a woman coming towards her. She then looked up and just so happened to make direct eye contact as San Marco got closer, and before any words were able to be exchanged, San Marco shot her directly between the eyes at point-blank range. San Marco showed no emotion as her previous coworker hit the floor, and she continued to enter the building and systematically annihilated everyone that she came to handle, I guess. Malika Higgins and Nicola Grant lost their lives next. The shooter made her way to her old desk, and it was then that she saw her old manager, and it was Charlotte Colton. She narrowed in on her target and shot her old manager down as she approached her. And it's worth noting that she was really good at shooting because she was practicing her aim quite a bit in the weeks leading up to her going and doing this. There were like 2 weeks between when she got her gun and when she actually committed the crime. And there was a lot of evidence later recovered in her backyard to prove that she was back there target shooting with all kinds of different targets. And yeah, so anyway, moving on. After she took down Charlotte Colton, she again began to make her way to her old desk. On the way there, she encountered Guadalupe Schwartz and shot her 4 times. When she finally made her way to her desk, she saw Dexter Shannon working at it. Dexter was the one that raised the red flags that ultimately got her canned from that job. I mean, she was on psychiatric disability, but she was pretty much asked to leave. And so she walked up to him, and he had his headphones on, so he had no idea that there was all this stuff going on around him. And she shot him right in the head before he even had a chance to know that it was coming. With that, she turned the gun onto herself, and she shot herself too. So the final death toll that day was 8, if you include herself, which I think obviously you should. And yeah, I would usually go into incarceration and court proceedings at least a little bit, or if the person was executed, but she unalived herself. So I hope you guys like this video. I am working on trying to change up the visuals. This one I think I'm going to include my actual face in it. And thank you for coming and watching another episode. I look forward to starting today's. Have a great one.